Question number 7 is looking at questionnaires, and we've got Martin who's trying to find out some information about the local tram service, and he designs the following questionnaire. How often do you use the local tram service? And then we've got 3 possible response boxes, which are a little, sometimes and a lot, and then we're asked to write down 2 things wrong with this question. And we know that it's going to be 2 things because that's given in our answer boxes, but we can also see that it's worth 2 marks. Remember, if you write any more than that, they're not going to be able to accept them and mark them, so we need to think about the first 2 things that we're going to answer. The first thing on this type of question is always to look for is what we call a time frame, and that's whether the question that's being asked is put into the context of a period of time. So this should say something like, how often do you use the local tram service per week, or per month, or even per year? So the first thing I would write down is there is no time frame to the question. Now, I've noticed 2 other things wrong with this question. It doesn't really matter which one we're going to pick. And both those things are around the response boxes that we're provided with. The first one we could look for is that there's no option for anybody to respond to if they didn't use the tram service. So the minimum amount of time you could say is a little. So no option for 0 use. The other option you could have picked here was to say that the response boxes were too vague or not specific enough. We then move on to part B, which is traditional for this type of question now, and it says design a better questionnaire for Martin. The first thing we need to remember is that we need to ask the question, and we need to kind of do all the things that we said weren't done in part A of the question, i.e. to start with using a time frame. So, how often do you use the local tram service? And then we need to add our time frame on it. It doesn't matter the time frame we're going to use, so in this example I'm going to say per week. Question. Okay. Then it's good habit to have around 3 to 5 boxes, so let's go for 5. And then the general rules we need to follow are, number 1, the first box has to start at 0, just in case there's anybody that doesn't use it. So let's say 0 to 3 times. It doesn't matter if you've gone and said 4 or 2, for example. The next rule is that the next box can't overlap, so it can't start with 3, so we're going to have to start with 4, because you want to design a questionnaire so that people can only respond in exactly one box. So let's go 4 to 6 times this time. And then we need to make sure our next box starts at 7. Let's go 7 to 9. We could then go 10 to 12. And then in our last box we need to make sure that it's open-ended. So by that we could write more than, or we could write 13 plus, just for if there's anybody to respond to that has an excessively large number where we'd need to start carrying on with the boxes to incorporate it.